Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hard Corners, one of three segments of a family stream known as Fearlessly Made in the City of Chicago. My name is Waddell. We're going to jump right into it. If you find that you like the content that is being discussed here, feel free to like and subscribe. Topic that I'm going to talk about is our young folks, our kids, our young adults, and the bad decisions that they make that end them up in circumstances where they're either standing before a judge or they're looking up at dirt. First, we have to start off with everything starts in the household. Both parents. What I explain to young folks, and I think you young folks need to hear this when I say it, and a lot of people need to hear this when I say this. When the people who are responsible for you being here got together, in whatever moment they were in, you were conceived. You were carried for 9 to 10 months. And on the end of those months, birth was given. You were pushed out of the womb. Once you took that first breath, the debt was paid. I'm going to say it again. Once you exited your mother's womb and you took that first breath, the debt was paid. Nobody owes you shit after that first breath. Anything done for you after that first breath, it's not done out of debt. It's done out of love. And from love comes responsibility, dedication, guidance, structure, discipline, love, and a development of individuality. Somewhere in here, we've allowed the ball to be dropped by bad choices that we have made in the selections of the people that we've involved ourselves with during the course of our lifetime. Okay, in that instance, you can't shovel the shit back in the cow now that the grass is messed up. All you can do is hope to make fertilizer. That being said, get over your feelings as a parent about what you feel about the other parent, if that's the case. It's no longer about you two. It's about that child or those children. You have to be a team enough to be able to nurture, guide, direct, and love on these kids. They should not be held responsible or accountable for your bad decisions about how you chose for yourself. You have to be held accountable for that. But now that your children are here, be responsible enough to put them in a space where they can be properly nurtured, to learn love, to learn how to be loved, to learn self-discipline, to learn respect, to have a moral compass, to go out here and make better decisions so that they don't end up in the situations that they end in. Because the problem is when you overindulge or you underindulge a child, you end up with the same product, a person that feels that somebody owes them something. So, now that I've said that, let's look at what we've been looking at. You had the incident in Chicago, I believe it was back in September 11th, with the burglary of a Louis Vuitton store on Michigan Avenue. 7 individuals involved working in concert to commit burglary. Working in concert meaning they all participated together through their actions to commit the burglary, whereas they stole a lot of stuff out of Louis Vuitton. And in the course of their getaway, their attempt to elude the police, their attempt to flee, they caused the death of an innocent person. Vehicular death. Being that they were all working together, didn't make a difference which one of them was driving, because they were all participating in the same crime and they were all participating in their attempt to flee from the police, and the death was caused by them. All of them get charged with murder. Burglary, criminal damage to property, and murder. Bad choices, improper direction, no discipline, no fear or understanding of consequence, because Those things, fear and consequence, should be taught at home. It's a part of the nurturing process. Not fear of the parents, but fear of the consequence. Because what a kid will learn is, if I don't like the consequences that I have to face in the disciplinary incidents that I receive at home, then I will do my best to avoid what happens out here in the street. Because if I don't like what's happening at home as far as discipline, I'm not looking to see the worst side of that when I get out here in the streets. We have to accept responsibility for guiding our kids better, for guiding our young adults better. Yes, you love and nurture and direct and discipline them until they become young adults. And at that point, once they become young adults, if you've instilled everything that you need and it's been tested and proven that they understand and have received everything that you have done, your job then is to advise and direct. You don't stop being a parent because they're grown. Your role changes a bit. You advise and direct. And the only time that you intervene is when you realize that they are facing something that's beyond their scope of understanding, and that's when you step in. Say, I got this. You sit back and watch so you know how to do it for your kids. But overall, you have laid enough foundation in that nurturing process for them to go out and build on their own and accept if I fall, I can get back up because I learned from the people who've done it before me. We have dropped the ball in that aspect. We have dropped the ball in that aspect. And the result is you got 7 young men looking at burglary, criminal damage to property, and murder. Let's look at the other circumstance that happened. I believe it was in Georgia, where you had the 3 young men, the 3 teens between 14 and 16 or 15 and 17 that burglarized the house of a senior citizen at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's reasonable for anybody to believe that if somebody is taking the time to force their way into a house where the occupants of the house at home sleep, that there's a likelihood that their life is in danger. And by that means, they have the right to defend themselves. Unfortunately, there was a loss of 3 teenage children. Why? Because of bad decisions, bad choices. Where the bad decisions and bad choices come from? From the lack of the direction and discipline, love, and everything else that falls within the span of nurturing. We got to get back in proper nurturing. There's no reason that these 3 teenage boys should be out of the house at 4 o'clock in the morning for any reason, unless the house is on fire and they're being attended to by the fire department. There's no reason why they should be out the house at 4 o'clock in the morning kicking somebody else's door in for the purposes of committing burglary. And my understanding is there was an exchange of gunfire and the 3 young teenagers unfortunately died as a result of it. We have to do better. We have to do better. We've gone so far as not doing what we need to do on our end, or allowing social media and other points of interference to come in and prevent us from being what we've always been to our kids, even in the worst adverse times, and that's parents. You had a young pregnant young lady who was walking home with her 2 children, grammar school children, who had been bullied by their classmates, their schoolmates, and were attacked by a number of the children from the school who had no respect for the fact that she was an adult, she was a mother. They had no conscience about what they did and how they did it. What are we doing? You can't justify, you can't defend that. You can't offer any explanation other than accepting responsibility on your end. I didn't do enough. I need help. We got to get out of that stigma as well. I said it once before. We all damaged. We probably the most damaged out here. Counseling is not a bad thing. But if you're going to get counseling, let it be culturally relatable counseling. Somebody who can understand where you're coming from, what your life has been, who can relate to where you're coming from, so that they can help you to find out where you should be going. But counseling nonetheless. Because when you're carrying an anchor of your past behind you, it don't make a difference how well you build a house. If your foundation is cracked up, that house gonna fall. So we gotta have to accept responsibility. We have to be able to say, yeah, I'm damaged. I need help. Let me find the right help so that I can help my kids and myself. But we have to stop defending dumb shit. It's not a good look. We need to be a lot more informed than we are. There's no way we should allow the things that go on in our household, in our community, to continue to go on unchecked, all because we are uninformed about what our options are. And those who are out here who are in position to provide information to those individuals, if you're not doing it, shame on you. Because that's part of your responsibility as well. If you're going to assume the position or assume that office, is to make sure that your constituents or the people around you are aware of what the options are. Educators, hats off to you all, because it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. My sister, who's partner on this family stream, is an educator. So I know what it's like. I worked for the school system as a second job from 94 to 2005. So I know what it's like in the inner city schools. I know what you face. I know what you deal with. But don't let that degree sit on the wall, just sit on the wall. The same intellect you used to conquer those classes while you were in college, it should be the same intellect that you use to be able to redirect a situation in your classroom and with the parents. Because a lot of times the parents come in and they don't know what their position is. They just know that they want something done, or don't understand how things are done. You in the system, direct them, teach them. If everybody is doing what they should be doing in that aspect, we wouldn't have half the problems we have in our schools right now. We have to accept responsibility for what we're doing wrong. We have to stop being hypocritical and just sitting around the table and talking about it at the beauty shop or at the spade table or over dinner to each other and taking action. You don't need a whole lot to sit down and take an idea that you have that will help and put it on paper, process it, test it, see what needs to be fixed, see how it works, and then implement it in your own space and spread it out to your community. Stop looking for the other hand to come and help. We come from intelligence. It's time for us to act on it and stop making excuses for dumb shit. Please chime in and give me your point of view.